guys, welcome back to ACR Falconry. On today's episode, I'm going to show you how I build my BC traps. So let's get right into it. Okay, so some of the stuff you're going to need 1/2 inch welded wire mesh. In this example, I'm starting with a piece that's like 16 inches long by about 16 inches wide, but we'll be cutting it smaller than that. You're going to need a piece of wood, something a little bit thicker so that it's going to be used as kind of the weight when you put your BC trap out. It's going to hold the trap down so that the bird can't fly away with it. You're going to need some kind of a screw or some kind of a fastener to put the wire mesh on. So I'm going to be using just screws and washers, but you could use like a heavy duty staple or something that you would be able to just staple into the side. I'll show you when we get to that part. You're going to need some kind of wire tin snips to cut your wire mesh. You're going to need some mono fishing line. In this case, I'm using 30-pound. That seems to work. I've never had any issues with 30-pound breaking. And then again, something to fasten everything together. But if you're using staples or whatever, you'd have to have a stapler and a tape measure just to help with the cutting and stuff. So yeah, so the first step is I'm going to cut this down to the size that I want. There's no real specific size that's needed. It's just a matter of having something big enough, depending on what you're going to be having in here to use in the trap, whether it's going to be a mouse, maybe a rat. If you're going after something a little bigger and you want to maybe have a quail or something in there, then you would want to build the trap a little bit bigger. I'm going to be building mine to use with a mouse, and it'll be a bit smaller than what you could build. But anyways, let's get into it and we'll show you how you put this together. So as far as fastening goes, I just use 1 inch because I had enough room on the board. Just use some 1 inch screws with some washers. Hold the wire mesh to the wood. When I do these edges, I like to make sure that I wrap all the little pointy bits and try to point them all inside of the trap so that when the hawk's trying to grab onto it, there's no sharp pieces that are going to be scratching or hurting their feet. These are just some metal ties that I had. So anything like a little metal wire, or you could probably use an old coat hanger, anything that you want to be able to just wrap it so that you're not bending it every time you open and close it. Okay, for the nooses and stuff, you're going to just load the whole top of the trap with nooses. I'm going to show you obviously we're going to use the 30-pound mono, and then the hawks and stuff can't really see it. Once it's tied on there, it's almost invisible. But as far as showing you how to tie the knot, I'll do it with some of this twine, just so you can see it a little bit better. So what I tend to do is I cut myself a piece, say maybe 14, 15 inches. And the reason for that is the way I like to do my nooses is that you're going to actually loop your noose through your trap. Not going to be the easiest. So, okay, so you're going to come through your trap. You're going to tie off your line. And then you're going to create your noose with so you're going to create 2 nooses. And that way you've actually got the noose secured nicely between 2 nooses instead of tying 1 noose and then just tying the other end to it. It's actually stronger when there's actually 2 of them. So to do your noose, all you're doing is you're wrapping your line around the base of the line and then around it and tying a knot. I don't know if you guys can see that from there. I'll try to zoom in with the camera here. So all it is a little knot that goes around the outside of the line, if that makes sense. Let me set it here for a second so you can try to see it. So once we pull that tight, I double it up. So once you do the one side, you're going to wrap it around the back side and do another knot. It's a lot easier with fishing line. Yeah, come on, get through there. So yeah, so then you tighten that down as well. So then it's 2 knots, but this still slides. So then you would keep it so that it sits kind of like that on the trap. And you want your nooses to all kind of sit. You try to position them so they're all up off the trap. Again, the point of this is when the hawk comes down on the trap, he's going to be moving around, trying to foot and grab. And at some point, one of his toes or his talons are going to go through. He's going to pull his foot away and his toe is going to get caught. And when he goes to try to leave, he's going to try to take the trap with him. And that's when you've trapped yourself a hawk. So yeah, so the more of these nooses you add, the quicker and easier it is. Pretty much as soon as the hawk lands on the trap and moves his foot, it's going to have nooses on his toes. Usually you get like 3 or 4 nooses kind of onto their foot, and you've trapped your hawk. So I'm going to continue to tie them, but I'll do it with all the fishing line, and I'll just speed that up. So yeah, so I'm going to get the rest of these all tied up. Just to go over a little bit of it too. So trap's about 9 inches long. With the whole stand piece, if you were going to use it with a camera, I went to about 18 inches. And yeah, it's about 4 inches tall. Just to kind of give you an idea of the size of it. When I was building it, so I made the little hinge door that obviously you just have to throw a screw in. You could probably make it different with a little latch or something, so you don't have to put the screw in every time you put the mouse in or out. But I don't mind just throwing the screw in before I go trapping, and then it keeps it nice and solid inside there. I built mine with this extra bit here, and that's only so that I mount my GoPros on them when I go trapping. So it'll give me room here for a mount. But if you're not using it with a mount, you could have it cut off just at the back end of the trap. And yeah, so just make sure whatever wood you use, like this is just some cedar, so it's not the heaviest, but I'll just add some extra weight to it before I go out trapping. And if you're using something like a 2x6, that's probably got tons of weight to it, or plenty of weight, I should say. So you'd be fine with that, and then you wouldn't have to worry about, once the bird gets caught, that it's flying off with your trap. So that's pretty much the extent of it. Just, yeah, a few other little things. When you do make your nooses, try to make them fairly small. You don't want, the bird to be getting its head or something caught in there, so keeping them small enough that they're just kind of toe size It's kind of crucial. Like maybe you can fit kind of 2 fingers in it type thing. Oh yeah, and there's no set number of the amount that you put on it. As you've seen, I just tie all my double knots all the way through it first, and then I go back and tie my nooses after. And I only do that because, as you can see, things start to get a little bit crazy with the amount of line that's around. So once you start tying nooses and then you're trying to tie a line beside it, I find the noose just gets in the way, you get caught on your finger, whatever. So if you just tie everything in position, then you can kind of go back through and tie all your nooses. And once all the nooses are done, you can kind of look it over and see if there's any kind of spots that you think could use some extra nooses, and then just throw some more line in there. And that's pretty much it, guys. If you guys like my video, and oh, actually, if you're interested in seeing this in action, feel free to check out the video I've got linked in the description of me using the BC trap in action. So good luck trapping this year, guys. I'm planning to go get a red tail. So in the next few weeks, I should be out and I'll get a video of me going out and getting this trap in action and catching my red tail for this season. And then obviously it'll be followed up with videos of me doing the training and everything else that comes along with that. So if you want to see those videos, feel free to subscribe, hit the like button, and yeah, shoot me a comment if you guys have any questions. And we'll see you on our next ACR Falconry adventure.